Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Raid Shadow Legends. Today we are gonna do a look at my clan boss. It's really cool to see the stages this account has gone, because we started off struggling, doing like no damage anywhere, and we've worked our way up and we've worked our way up, and eventually we're sitting here, I think, pretty good. You know, I'm pretty happy with where we're at. We're sitting at usually between like 24 and 31 million damage on Nightmare on auto, and on Ultra Nightmare we're getting about 20 million a key. So really impressed with my team. Got a little lucky with pulls too, so this isn't like a free-to-play guide of any sorts. This is just showing you how my account has progressed over the last couple months. Thank you so much for Raid Shadow Legends and Plarium for sponsoring this video. If you look at the middle of the screen there, you're gonna see what you get if you use my link in the description below to download RSL. You get 100k silver, you get a stamina refresh, you get 50 gems to summon some stuff with, and you get Executioner, a rare champion, for free. We can go take a look at them really quickly here. And he is one of the ones I used early game on my this account here. He carried me through all the campaign, got me all the rewards. I had to farm them myself, but luckily for you, you get them for free. And again, just to get those things in the next 20 days or 30 days or so, mailbox up above my head is where you go to get all this. So thank you so much again, and on to the video. So anyways, let's get into my clan boss here. And I will show my stats at the end of the video as well. So what did I didn't even see what we got there. So we're gonna attack into Nightmare. We have this team here, and the team is pretty decent right now. There's only one person I really need to replace. We have our Razin, which is a fusion. You can get him for free. Well, for free in quotes. We have our Occult Brawler, our newest member. I used to use Juliana before I used Occult Brawler, and it was about 22 million damage instead of like the 27 to 32 we're doing now. I'm using Altan, who was like the biggest blessing I've ever had. The amount of damage this truck does is just actually bonkers. And then we have the usual Martyr, who has carried me on her back for entire time since I've played this game. And then Apothecary, who is the one I want to replace. I do plan to replace Apothecary with somebody like Steel Skull. If I had Steel Skull, that's who I would probably use. But since I don't, I'm probably gonna use a Steel Crusher, or I forget his name, the dude that is like a Martyr. I'm gonna use one of him and kind of use them both at once and just have a ton of counterattack and defense buffs. Anyways, let's show you the battle here. And again, like I said, this is not a free-to-play team, but that said, you could do something pretty similar with like Grizzled Jarl as Altan. You could also use the Skull Crusher instead of Martyr. You can use Juliana instead of Occult Brawler. There's so many other options you can use. And of course, if you have somebody like Nethril, if you have somebody else, like, I don't even know who, but there's so many other options you can do. This is just specifically the option I have. So my idea behind this team, there's a couple little ways you can do this. One is you can have your team the way I do, and kind of don't really care about turn manipulation. So have all the abilities, I forget what they're called in the mastery tree, but have all the ones that give you extra combat manipulation and combat readiness. Turn meter rather, LOL. And what that happens is you have your turn order at the start like I did, and everybody on your team goes, and then right at the end your Martyr goes, everybody gets counterattack, and then the enemy goes. But the problem with the way I have it set up now is the turn order gets messed up, and when I go in relation to the boss gets messed up too. So the general way people do this when they're really trying to push the damage, which is my next step for this, is going to be take away all your turn meter manipulation sort of things, like get rid of my Apothecary, get rid of all the masteries, like the ones that have a chance to give you a little bit of turn meter when a debuff or buff expires. Get rid of all of those, and then your counterattack will line up perfectly the whole time. You'll get boatloads more damage, and it's just kind of nutso. Like I feel like we missed a bunch of counterattacks there because we went too fast. So the cool thing here too is this team, my Altan, he's just there for just his raw strength. He also has a defense buff, just huge damage with his defense. We're also using Martyr, another defense buff, another attack down as well. Altan's also attack down. So with those two, we have a pretty big safeguard for attack down, because attack down is really what matters in the later stages. We also have our Occult Brawler. All these people, except for the Apothecary, are on lifesteal too, so keep that in mind. That's why my Apothecary will die first in this run, unfortunately. And between the three defense-based heroes, the three in the middle, the Razin, the Altan, and the Martyr, they do actually the bulk of the damage, just from their raw strength. Like, it's not even the War Master procs that are doing the ton of damage. Like, it obviously is, but just this insane damage he does. Like, if you could see there, Altan's regular attack hit for more than the War Master proc he hit. And this will get more and more as I go, because right now Altan's really the only one on my team that has good defense slash crit rate, crit damage gear. Razin and Martyr are both on more defensive gear, and they don't really have the best setup, if that makes sense. Like, they've got the survivability, but I geared them when I didn't have good enough gear, and they're set without the crit rate, crit damage. Same goes with my Occult Brawler. You can see him sometimes doing damage, but overall not gonna do too much. All of Occult Brawler's damage is gonna be through his poisons. The other cool part is Razin is insane for this, and you can get Razin again as a fusion. Razin has defense down, which I feel like doesn't matter too much, but it does matter a lot. But most importantly, he also has Weaken, both on his skill 2. He also has skill 3 that doesn't do anything against this boss. It removes turn meter and has AoE, none of which really matter here, but luckily the AI is smart enough not to use it. I'm not sure what else to say about the team itself, but this is a really, really good startup. Something like this is, I think, what most people need to aim for when they're trying to build their clan boss team. Just take it one step at a time, start replacing one person as you go, and just make your way up. When I first started, I was using both Apothecary and I was using, gosh, what's her name? Handkeeper. I was using them both, so 2 healers and a skill reset, and it was great. You know, it was pretty good. They were doing a bunch of cool things, but it wasn't very much damage. They were surviving, but they weren't doing too much damage. I also had Juliana on that team, and that was kind of the basis of my team, and then the 5th one was always like a random unit. I then graduated to trying to get some more attack down, and I did so using my Golden Reaper. It's just what I used. A lot of other people use something like Skull Crusher or Steel Skull. Those are 2 ones that are just always in every team I see, for the people that don't have all the 5-star Void units. But most importantly, the way I did this was just slowly and steadily over the course of, like, I don't know how long I've been playing this game, but literally since the very start of the game, I've been slowly tuning my team for this, and this has been basically the drive for me. Like, this is what I really enjoy about this game. This is actually my favorite part about Raid, period, is just the clan boss and the amount you have to kind of, maybe not innovate, but the amount you have to work towards it, and the amount of dedication you have to do, and every little bit matters, because the difference between getting I forget what I got at first, but like when I was first trying to do Nightmare, just pushing into it, I was getting like 8 to 12 million damage a key, and the difference between getting 10 million a key and 9 million a key is the very last chest or nothing, basically. So super ultra unbelievably important to maximize this as much as you can. And I think within the next month, probably the next like 2-3 weeks, I'll be able to graduate into Ultra Nightmare. I think I can do it now, but I don't want to take the damage away from my clan right now. They've been really awesome, and Nightmare is dying and Ultra Nightmare is dying, and I just feel like I'm in a good spot right now, so I haven't been rushing that too much. So we're getting close to the time where we will be dying soon, I think. I think that's a lot earlier than usual. My time is usually like 9 minutes when I die with Apothecary, so this just goes to show, with a little bit of bad RNG, he can die really early. So I expect this to be maybe like 23-24 million. And all I need is anything over 20, because it's 39.5 million or something like that to get the final key for Nightmare. So anything over 20 is fine and dandy. So let's see how long they stay after Apothecary, and that's one of the reasons why I want to replace Apothecary with somebody like Grizzled Jarl, some defense-based bruiser with a lot of damage that maybe has like attack down on it as well. Reason for that just being you don't need the heal. The speed buff actually hurts you if you have everything set up right. Maybe not the speed buff, but the turn meter kind of screws you. So it's better to just bruiser it out and just take the hits and like look at the damage and the lifesteal back from all these units. It's actually kind of insane how much lifesteal combines with how much damage we do. Even the Occult Brawler, who just doesn't have, you know, I think he's dead right now. But he doesn't have the best setup. He doesn't have the best defense. He almost made it. He still gets enough healing back to usually survive. Like if he had procced a War Master proc, I don't think he did there. He would have healed the full and we would have been going for a while. So as I'm talking, I'm realizing that the time might be different on this device than the device I play usually. So maybe we're doing a lot of damage and I just don't know it. I guess we'll see in a second. Again, anything over 20 Minarino is all we need. You can also manual it to do a little bit more, but just not necessary for me at the time. I'm really excited because like seeing the process, like you should go back if you're interested, go back and watch one of my first clan boss videos and like watch the difference. It's actually insane. And like I said, I have gotten really lucky, but we are still doing great. So 26.15 million damage. This is actually, I would say, like the lower end of what I get right now. Occult Brawler with 10 million, Altan, Martyr. Yeah, usually I would expect Martyr, Razin, and Altan's damage to be a little higher. So definitely goes to show a little bit of RNG in there. And we can look at the other teams here. 26 million in one key. I think I had the highest single key damage outside of Thrasher. Thrasher doesn't count. He cheats. But as you can see here, this guy's using Tayrael. I've luckily didn't summon Tayrael, so I didn't build him. And instead, I have Altan taking over. He's also using Occult Brawler. He's also using Razin. Razin down here, there's that little oinker that I don't have, unfortunately. And as for the Ultra Nightmare teams, a lot of Razins, or not a lot of Razins, a lot of Tayraels, a lot of Martyrs, lots of Bad Alcazars, lots of Skull Crushers. We have some, is that Grizzled Jarl? I actually don't know who that is. I'm assuming that's Grizzled Jarl. We have a Draco Morph there too. Kind of surprised by Reed Duke's team. Wait, no, Red Duke. Reed Duke's the MTG player, lol. But Vizier is like one of my dreams. It would be so nice to get him. We can see a bunch of Altan teams here. And how do this many people in the guild have Venus? Like, I want to know how that's a thing. How do 3 people have Venus right there? That's actually unfair. But yeah, that's going to be it for the run. Let me go show you really quickly my gear here. I am pretty happy with it. So this is my Razin here. I'm just going to move my head because my head is unimportant and the stats are what's important. So we've got our Razin here. There's the artifacts. The masteries here, you can see them all. We have max skill. We have our Altan here. Artifacts, mastery. You can pause it if you want to see. Max on the skills. I just finished the maxing yesterday, I think. We have our Martyr, who needs some better gear. She's one of the ones that's hurting. I got her basically first, so she doesn't have my best gear on. She also has skill 2, skill 3 max, and nothing in her skill 1. So this is one of the things I really need to work on, but I just don't have the legendary books to do it. And her masteries, we then have our Occult Brawler here. There are his stats. There's his skills. He is max skill everywhere, and that as well. And finally, our Apothecary. There are his masteries, skills, max. And then we have our artifacts. So overall, pretty happy with this. Everything is going great. Let me show you, before anybody asks, the Great Hall as well. So thank you so much for watching. And again, thank you to Plarium and Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. If you want to download this game, and you should, in the link description below, you can find a link there. And if you sign up using that link, you get Executioner, which you see on screen here, for free. You also get 100k silver, you get a stamina refresh, you get 50 gems, and all of that is in your mailbox for the next 30 days. I believe you have to grab it out there. So again, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.